Hey guys, welcome back to the Cloth and Paper YouTube channel. My name is Andrew. I am a graphic designer here at Cloth and Paper. Hope everyone is having a great day today. Today's video, we're going to be discussing color. So color palettes, color theory, we might get a little bit into what to use in your planners and to use in your journal spreads, everything. So there's a lot to cover in this video, but I'm gonna hopefully explain it in easy enough terms so that you can apply this to wherever you need a little more color in your life. So the first thing we're gonna look at, I have this color wheel right in front of me. Pretty simple color wheel. There are a lot of color wheels online that you can look at that are a million different colors on one thing. Honestly, the basics, you just need something with this amount of color. So yeah, a little bit into color theory. We won't go too deep into it. It can get a little complex, especially if you go too into detail with everything, but the basics you'll need to learn, I'll cover. So first things first, on the color wheel, you have your primary colors. You might already know this information, but the primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. So we'll just label those with a number 1. So yeah, every color that you would possibly need can come from red, blue, and yellow, as well as white and black, just so that you can get different tones and hues and stuff like that. So yeah, those are the basic primary colors. The secondary colors are the colors that you can get when you mix the primary colors. That is purple, green, and orange. Those are the secondary colors, not much to those either. The tertiary colors are where you get into more detailed, sort of specific colors on the color wheel. And those come from mixing a primary and a secondary color. So if you mix red and blue, you'll get purple. And then if you mix blue and purple per se, you'll get an indigo sort of color. Same thing goes around for the entire color wheel. As far as color palettes go, there are a couple different routes that you can take for a color palette. These are just the basic ones. Color is subjective. It's very whatever you're into, you can do. You don't have to follow rules, or you don't have to follow a specific color relationship. If you like how the colors look together, that's all that matters. But here are some ways to get started if you don't know where to start. The most basic color connection that you can make is a complementary color. So that is any colors that are across the color wheel from each other. So yellow and purple are complementary colors. So that is one complementary color relationship. Red and green, orange and blue, all different complementary color combinations. The secondary color combination that you can make is analogous. So that is any 3 colors or more that are connected to each other on the color wheel. So if you go from red to orange, then you have this reddish orange, saffron color next to it. If you go across this way, those are all analogous colors that would naturally go together. And then you have a triadic color relationship, which is any 3 that are evenly spaced on the color wheel. So the primary colors are a triadic color relationship. You can connect those 3, and that is one color palette. You can connect the secondary colors, and that's another color palette. So yeah, you have those. You can also get into, there's other analogous color palettes on this side. Then you can do, if you really wanted to, you could do a split. This is a split complementary of, instead of going across the color wheel, you go to the ones next to the color wheel. Yeah, there's a bunch of different combinations that you can make to get different colors. Yeah, there's a million different combinations. Whatever you feel like goes well with your planner and with your folio and with whatever you've got to work with, totally fine. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, that's the best color palette. So yeah, so that is a very basic color theory introduction. By no means is this a college course. This is like, you know, this is stuff that you learn pretty early on. So yeah, or here's the color wheel. And then in my opinion, what makes a really good color palette is you need a lighter color, a darker shade, and then like a neutral somewhere in there. And that can also fall under a triadic or analogous color palette if you would like it to. I tend to lean more towards like neutrals in general, especially any kind of like jewel tone neutrals. So like Bordeaux, I'm wearing a Bordeaux colored sweater today. I didn't even realize. Bordeaux, Apollo, that like burgundy and that like navy blue I really enjoy, as well as any kind of like tans or beiges are just really easy to pair with any color palette, honestly, as long as you find the right shade or the right tone. And we'll be looking at some sample spreads with some color palettes here in a second. Then you have to figure out if you would like it to lean more gold or silver or like bronze. I really enjoy trying to pair a metallic color with a color palette. Usually I lean a lot more silver. I'm not that much of a gold enjoyer in general, but sometimes a color palette definitely calls for gold. We're going to look at some examples of these different kind of color relationships on different spreads with some of our own CP products. So let's do that. The first one that we have right here is an example of a complementary color palette. So going back to the color wheel, we're looking at a like Bordeaux color and a like lighter green sort of tertiary color over here. So with that, I went for a more like Bordeaux and matcha sort of combination. So yeah, the products that I used in this, I used this click art, the Zebra click art pen, the Zebra Sarasa vintage clips. These color palettes are so nice because they are like all jewel tones. I really enjoy using these. I used some square stickers. I used this Apollo colored circle page flag in the bottom over here. And then I used this Posca white marker to write on the page flag. And, oh yeah, and I used these ash drop stickers just to mark out which start times for each of my things to do during the week. So yeah, this is an example of a complementary color palette. You can see that there's like more jewel tone reddish hue sort of color, as well as like a lighter brighter green sort of color. So this is what I was talking about of I like to have something that's a little darker, have a color that's a little lighter, and then some like neutrals in there too. So these like nori colored square stickers has little accent marks, and then a nice like true deep neutral, this like navy blue in the bottom corner. So this is one example that we have over here. Now we're going to look at an example of an analogous color palette. And going back to the color palette, I am doing sort of this end of the color wheel with some blues and some greens, like a little bit of teal in there as well. So yeah, so some other products that I used for this, I used another Zebra click art pen. I really enjoy these click art pens. They have pretty much any color that you could possibly need. So I use these all the time in my planner. This is just a sample of what I would possibly do using these colors. So yeah, so we did this Zebra click art pen. We used this Sarasa pen as well in this like bright indigo blue sort of color. We used another one of these Apollo circle page flags, and then we used these sticker sample of the avocado time block stickers just as little like accent marks at the top. And then again, the ash drop stickers just to show the start times of everything. You can see the difference between these two color palettes as far as how it feels on the page. You know, this one's a little more bright and a little more contrast. This one has a lot more of a monochromatic, analogous sort of feel to it. Some people tend to lean more towards this sort of monochromatic color palette, which I really enjoy. As long as everything's within the same color family, I tend to lean more that way. And then Some people like to do a lot of contrast just to make sure that there is like clear difference between dates and times and objectives and things to do and, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, these are two of the color palettes here. And then the third one, my personal favorite of color palettes to choose from is a triadic sort of color palette. Again, this is more me. I tend to lean more neutral, so I went with these like yellow, orangish, sort of tan, beige sort of colors. I think we would call these Manuka and like macchiato in our color palette. So those are the colors to look for if you want like a good, like orangey, warm beige color. So I use that for all of the main text and the like highlighting in this bottom section. These are the products that I used for this. So as far as pens go, again, Zebra Click Art in this like light blue color. Love the color of that one. This is the mild liner, the Zebra mild liner in the color beige. And that's what I used down here and up here to label the dates up here. The Sarasa vintage clip as well for some contrast on these highlighted portions down here. And then this sort of Manuka color Sarasa clip vintage for the main text everywhere else. So those are those. And then the Posca pen, again, to write on like a darker page flag. If you guys don't know what to use to write on a like darker page flag, I really suggest these like Posca paint markers. And I think that there's another one that we sell that is a really good alternative to these. Can't remember the name of it, but yeah, it's a really fun way to block out more time or put it onto like a monthly spread and just write over it with a white marker. I feel like it pops a lot harder. So yeah, those are the pens that I used. And again, I used this Bordeaux square page flag. And I think that was the only like sticker accessory that I used. Yeah. So we have this like reddish sort of color in the Bordeaux, this yellowish sort of orange warm color in the tan and beiges, and then just adding a very light colored blue to accent some of the pages or some of the sections of the page, marking out the times over here. So yeah, this is personally my sort of look for a planner spread. I like the neutrals with like one brighter pop of color. Usually I try to use this sort of like bright green sort of color. That's like my favorite color ever. It's like a crazy chartreuse. But for this one, I wanted to be a little more universal and just show like a good combination of colors. And just so that we can see them all together. All right, so these are the spreads together just so you can see the difference between them. Again, this is the complementary style color palette. This is the Analogous style color palette. And then over here is the Triadic sort of relationship color palette. Let us know which one you like best or which one you want to try out the most. I think I want to try to do a lot more analogous color palettes. I do them sometimes depending on like the notebook that I use or the like planner spread that I'm using. But I feel like this sort of all one monochrome sort of look is really fun and deserves a little more love. So yeah, here are these three. So we have a couple questions from an Instagram poll that we posted a while ago, just to see if anyone was curious about any tips or tricks or comments about using color in your planners or in your journals. So I'm going to answer a couple questions now. Alex_Nicole 115 on Instagram asks, what's a good rule of thumb for color palettes in planners? Again, my good rule of thumb is to pick a main color, and that can be bright or dark depending on what your sort of vibe is. A secondary color that is an opposite hue or saturation of that color. So if it's a bright main color, I would do like a more subtle jewel tone secondary color, or if it's a subtle jewel tone secondary color, I would pick primary color, I would pick my secondary color to be a little more bright and flashy. Definitely have a good neutral tone in there, anything that's a darker sort of goes with everything. So black or white, you can do like a beige tan sort of color, like a dark green or like a dark navy blue. I personally consider neutral tones because they go with a lot. So yeah, so those three, figure out a good metallic that goes with it, if it goes with it. If not, totally fine, not required, doesn't need it. And honestly, the like main rule that I have for planners is just have fun with it and just pick out which colors that you like. And your planner is not for everybody else, your planner's for you. So if you enjoy it and you really like how it looks, that's all that matters. Another question from prosperous.plans on Instagram. How can we figure out what colors would pair well with a theme for the month? So again, returning to the sort of color wheel conversation, I would look at the color palette at large in general and see which of those categories is missing from the color palette. So if it's missing like a good jewel tone color, add a jewel tone color. If it's missing like a bright, vibrant, poppy sort of color, add a bright, vibrant color that's really going to like contrast with the rest of the palette. And then again, you can't go wrong with adding a neutral or like a beige or like a tan sort of goes with everything color. Some other responses that we got from the Instagram polls, this one's more of just like tips and tricks and advice for others to share. Homesteads.city.decor on Instagram says, my color inspo is where I start. I lay all my deco out and go from there. I switch every month. I really admire this. I can't switch every month personally. I like the whole planner to look a lot more like cohesive. It just like helps my brain work better of remembering which colors depend on which tasks and what everything indicates as far as like using pens and stickers and accents and stuff like that. So I love that some people switch it up. I think it's so fun and I'm very jealous. I could start doing that, but you know, when you create a system and you follow that system for a while, it just becomes your sort of pace. So I think I might try doing something different for 2026. I can imagine myself switching quarterly, but for every box, that's an accomplishment. That's a skill. I definitely can't do that. Naomi Battle Craig 2 says colored ink, pencils and markers, and floral stickers. This is something that I had not brought up yet, and I am so glad that this comment says this. Truly, any kind of pattern can go with any kind of color, as long as the colors have some sort of relationship, or if the pattern is like a black and white pattern, obviously it's going to go well with any color. We have some really, really good patterns. I didn't even think to include these on the spreads. But yeah, I use a lot of the pattern stickers. It's pretty neutral in my personal planner. I use blacks and reds, and then like the Bordeaux is always in my planner for sure. And then I use the long page pins to mark out dates on my monthly. Those that are in the patterns, I use those a lot. Pattern is a really good way to replace one of the categories of colors needed in a planner. You can completely replace the like neutral tone with a pattern, or that can become your like bright, emphasized like bright color in your color palette. You can just replace with like a really cool pattern and it'll do the same thing that you need it to. So our last comment from Instagram that we have is from Tam Empress. If I said that incorrectly, I am so sorry. It brightens my day, so I am always changing my planner covers. It gives me life. I love this because if you want to easily change your color palette on the exterior, you can always change your folio or your dashboard or your planner cover or any kind of like exterior stickers that you want to add to the outside. It can change your entire vibe, and people don't need to flip through your planner to see your color palette. If it's on the outside, that's what you're working with. So definitely highly suggest any kind of like dashboard swap outs. I think that's what I swap out the most in my planner, is any kind of like dashboards or dividers, or I change the folio between the lizard skin folio and the Cypher vegan folio, and it just switches the entire vibe so that I can feel like I am a different person sometimes. Okay, that was our video for today about color and color palettes and a little bit of color theory for you guys. So if you like this video and you would like to see some more videos about color palettes or any kind of color inspo in the future, please leave a comment and let us know. I love combing through the comments on these videos. They are so fun and they're so nice. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give us a like. If you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to the Cloth and Paper YouTube channel. We have a lot of fun over here. Join us every Thursday for Happy Hour Live. Share this video with someone who needs a little more color in their planners. Surely that you will be able to pick up something from this video to use in your personal spreads, even if that means just adding one additional color. If you plan in black and white, maybe just try like a Bordeaux. Maybe try switching your black pen for navy. Who knows? We'll see what happens. If you have any questions or comments about adding color to your planners, please leave a comment and let us know. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see y'all next time.